Do 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 do. I don't know why I went there. Do 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 do. Hello and welcome back to the channel. Forgive me, I am late. Ooh, I guess I can hear. I guess I can hear. Put a one in the chat if you're out there. Ooh. Yeah, I guess I got it. Guess I got it. Well, what you gonna do? What you going to do? You're late. I'm sorry. I apologize. I was a little down in the dumps. I didn't feel like going up today. I was like, I need to quit YouTube, trying to, you know, do other things. Mm, I don't know. Anywho, it is, ooh, what time is it? It is 12:54. 12:54. And I apologize. I'm a whole almost hour late. God, I'm so sorry. Anyhow, I was feeling a little down in the dumps, thinking maybe I should cancel today. I wasn't feeling well. And I thought I would go live maybe tomorrow. But I, this year, made a resolution that I would not give in to my anxiety. So, this is me not giving in to anxiety. What's going on? So, if anybody is here, put a one in the chat if you can hear me. That's so funny. So funny. Mhm. I have this Diddy song just going in my head all day. It's so weird. So here I am. Mm, Just give me a minute here to make sure that everything is working. It is late at night. Well, it's early Saturday morning. And it's been my experience that going live at a certain time brings me a certain modicum of success. So what's wrong with that? Right? Okay. I'm sorry. Give me a second here. I'm so new to this. So just be a little patient with me. I'll be there in a moment. I'm surprised the upcoming subject, what we're going to talk about, that more people aren't talking about it. And maybe I'm the one who's wearing the cap on their head, the foil cap is I just figured that people would talk about this more and the implications that it has on black women. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I'm going to get into it. It's going to be kind of boring. It is going to be kind of boring. I'm sorry to say. It's going to be one of those reading article episodes with me punctuating stuff in. So, since it's Friday night, cheers, girls' night, a little bourbon and soda doesn't hurt anybody. I'm wondering why it's going on like this. So this is me making resolutions and like coming on. Okay. Okay. Let's get ready. So tonight we're going to discuss two lawsuits. One founded by Black women, uh, what they call the Fearless Fund, Venture Capitalists. I'm sorry, I got that confused. Venture Capitalists, both of them, both nonprofit, both meant to help Black women in particular. One wins, okay? And the other one is another venture capitalist. I'm sorry, I should say that too. There are two venture capitalist companies, one founded by Black women, one founded by white women. And the Black women, they both were sued for discrimination. One by Edward Blum, and the other one by just some random white man, probably in the same group, meant to kind of destroy DEI, diversity, whatever. The capitalist fund, and don't forget to like the video. Please like it. I appreciate a good like. It helps get these little stories, because what I do is I notice these little fringe stories uh, that nobody ever really talks about, and I think more people should talk about it, because there are definitely some implications here, and I wish I had come out in the morning to earlier to talk about these implications, because it seems that we're always talking about um, what do we talk about, men and women. And I feel that those arguments, that so-called gender war, which is really a thing, has been for damn near a millennia, uh, is a thing. It really is a thing, but it can be overcome. But I feel more and more that it's being used as a distraction to keep people from really concentrating on what's going on in the world, like what's really going on. So I've been following this story for a minute. Uh, Following this story, basically the Fearless Fund. I don't know if you watched this, but last year I did a video, and it was about the silencing of Black women, and in that I talked about Sinji and how she was being silenced, and how I was really surprised that more Black women didn't step out and kind of get in there and like protest and fight for her. But then I realized, as time went on, that a lot of Black women didn't really like Sinji. So maybe I should have asked the question. And the question I should have asked was, were Black women complicit in her silence? But I didn't ask that. So here we go. But the story, and it was kind of a boring thing because it was a long article about how Edward Blum used what was it, 1863 or 1860s uh, law, meant with this intention to care for Black women, or not Black women, but to care for Black people in general. It was to protect Black people. And that's what it was for. That is what its intention was. And they took that law and turned it on its head to sue these Black women for discrimination. Now, again, let's talk about the other venture capital founded by white women. Now, I grant they're both, I believe, in a different state, and we're going to show that. We're going to talk about that. They won their lawsuit. They gave 10 grants to black women in particular. And they also were sued by a white man uh, who, felt he was discriminated against because these grants were going to black women. And I said this before. When I was listening to the old video, I apologize for that. Um, I was saying that the reason why these white men are feeling threatened because black women are so capable. Like they are really, really capable. Look at how they galvanized the world with Black Lives Matter. Even though most of us in Blackistan know that when they say Black Lives Matter, they mostly mean the men. But look at how they did that. Look at how they went forth and galvanized the world. The world adopted that thought, that mantra, that Black Lives Matter. That's stupendous. Truly and honestly stupendous. So, and then, and in my research, I was thinking about black women and how they organized their community since 1850. They were the ones raising money to fight, or let's not even talk about fighting against slavery, but to free their families. They bought their families out of slavery. I know this sounds so scattered. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm late. I'm apologizing ahead of time. So, without further ado, let's get into these articles so I can have a more structured live and hopefully talk uh, more coherently about what we mean today. So, we're going to start off with Hello Alice. All right. Hello Alice, like I said, founded by white women. And I don't have a problem with white women uh, helping black businesses. That's not even the problem. This is so funny. This is so funny. Okay. Okay. I don't know why I'm having all this. All right. We're doing it live, girls. We're doing it live. All right. So, rambling at 1 o'clock in the morning. Hello, Alice wins lawsuit after being sued for awarding grants to black owned business. Now, I'm going to read this article. I know this is not the typical live where I play videos and that sort of thing, but I really want to highlight and have that question answered. And then afterwards, I'll drop the link. And if there's anybody out there in the ether at 1 o'clock in the morning on a Friday or Saturday morning, then come on in. Let's discuss. But if not, I'll see you in the aftermath. But this is the article, right? Hello Alice can continue on its mission to support small businesses. If you haven't already, you should go to Afrotech. This place is amazing. Uh, publication about Black achievement. If you really want to know what Black folks are doing, mainly Black women. But if you really want to know what they're doing, do go into that. Do go to this place. So it says Afrotech previously reported the company created by Elizabeth Gore and Carolyn Rotz was named in a class action suit for awarding up to $25,000 in grants to 10 Black owned businesses in partnership with Progressive Insurance Company. They were sued by Nathan Roberts, who owns an Ohio, now this is where they were sued, an Ohio-based trucking dispatch company, and claims he didn't know Progressive Insurance's Driving Small Business Forward Fund was exclusively for Black-owned businesses. Progressive Preferred Insurance Company, or Progressive Casualty, blah, 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 Progressive, which operates Hello Alice, are listed as defendants in the lawsuit filed by America First Legal Action, Mitchell Law, PLLC, and Ashford. They were sued. All right. Now, a resolution has been reached. According to a news release, the case has been dismissed. Not only did they win, it never even went to trial. The case has been dismissed by a federal judge in Ohio. This resolution marks a pivotal moment not only for our company, but the broader small business community in the United States, Gore said in the news release. I want you to take note of that. I want you to put little pin in that, right? Facing a labor shortage, heightened interest rates, and inflation, this country needs its small business owners, and they, in return, need the capital and resources that programs like Hello Alice provide. We are thrilled for the judgment in favor of Hello Alice, as this represents one less threat to our nation's small business community and economy. I want you to notice the wording here. Okay, I want you to pay attention to this because I said in the beginning, rather clumsily, that there were two lawsuits, two venture capital lawsuits. All right. Neil Katyal was the legal counsel. And this is his comment. We are pleased by the resolution of this case. All right. It beats back a meritless lawsuit and makes clear that the federal courts will not hear weak challenges such as these. This is very interesting. I want you to pay attention to this one. This is why I read this one first. The dismissal of this case is significant because the lawsuit would make it more difficult for diverse small businesses to compete in today's economy. The court ruled that this lawsuit is now over. The plaintiffs can try to appeal, but we are tremendously confident in our legal position and are ready and willing to fight, not just for Hello Alice, but the broader business community, and ready to set an even broader precedent in the Court of Appeals. All right. Hello Alice's resolution is to continue on its mission to support business owners by leveling the playing field as it relates to access to capital, resources, education, and opportunity. I want you to pay attention. I know this is not going to come together until later. The question was in the horrible thumbnail, are black women losing? That's the question, right? So I want you to pay attention that this capital, excuse me, this this company, this nonprofit organization funded 10 businesses with $25,000. Received the lawsuit, got it dismissed. I want you to pay attention to this. All right. So Hello Alice's resolution is to continue on this mission to support business owners by leveling the playing field as it relates to access to capital, resources, education, and opportunity. In April 2024, it closed a Series C funding round, bringing its total valuation to $130 million. This is where I got it all conflated because I thought let me just finish this. The funds are being used to empower its efforts and launch additional artificial intelligence. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, that's it for that article. But really, we want to pay attention to this right here. All right, that right there. Created by and was named in a class for awarding up to $25,000 to 10 Black owned businesses in partnership with Progressive Insurance Company. I want you to pay attention to that. 2 white women sued for awarding contracts or money to 10 businesses, $25,000. A guy is upset. I didn't know it was for Black people. Okay. They get sued. This case right here, this case is dismissed. It's dismissed. The question I have now, I'm going to switch over here. This is my question. I'm just switching over this tab. Hold on just a second. I want you to pay attention to what just happened to the Fearless Fund. And you tell me what's going on. I don't know why this is so slow. They don't want me to know. They don't want you to know either. All right. Let's try this again. This is important for us to see. The fuck? It's important for us to see that the Fearless Fund, again, let me just be clear. Live sucks. I'm not experienced with live, so it sucks for me. But the Fearless Fund was also a venture capital. So venture capital. Their job was to fund black owned businesses, mainly concentrating on women. So this guy, Edward Blum, who was instrumental what was that? In removing affirmative action from colleges. He went to the Supreme Court to get that struck down. Oh dear. See, I put this all together this night. So here I am. Okay. Here it is. I don't know why it just StreamYard just dropped that for no daggone reason. I don't understand. Anyhow, my apologies. I think I'm frozen. I don't know. Can you hear me? If anybody's out there, can you hear me? Let me see if I can hear myself. I don't know. Okay. They got sued and they lost their lawsuit. They lost. They were sued. I think it's twice. Edward Blum came up out of his ass. I'm sorry. I really wanted to show you this because this is important. We put a pin in the other article where two white women founded this venture capitalist fund, helped 10 black owned businesses, got sued. And here we are today looking at the Fearless Fund, which granted grants, which gave grants, excuse me, for black women. Now, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to read. But the U.S. Court of Appeals for the 11th Circuit has halted the Fearless Fund, a black owned venture capital firm, from awarding grants solely to black women entrepreneurs. Now, let me give you some structure about this nonprofit. Uh, I'm sorry, the names escaped me. I made notes. I had it all together. That's why I'm late. I had it all together and then I lost it. But um, these two black women, well, it's actually three. You may know her from the Cosby Show. What's her name? Keisha Knight Pulliam is one of the partners in this nonprofit organization. They founded this organization in 2018, and they have given. Well, we're going to talk about how much they have given to black women businesses, entrepreneurs, and help them found, like realize their dreams in entrepreneurship. Their venture capitalist company, their organization gave so much more to the black community, to women in particular, that major corporations came to them and bought them money. All right. Let's read about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it like this. So, this white man, I told you before, Edward Blum, he's part of an organization meant to dismantle all of the civil rights that black women have accrued, earned, if I may say, over these, God, what, 50, 60 years, his job, in my opinion, is to dismantle all of these things. So you see, I showed you that the white women's case was dismissed. Nobody even heard them. They gave what, $25,000 to 10 black owned businesses? $25,000 up to $25,000. I want you to look at the impact of these black women and what they did. All right. So I'm going to read again. The U.S. Court of Appeals for the 11th Circuit has halted the Fearless Fund, a black owned venture capital firm, from awarding grants solely to black women entrepreneurs. The court ruled that this practice likely violates Title 42 of the U.S. Code, which ensures equal rights and prohibits racial discrimination in awarding and enforcing contracts. This man, I don't know, I have never seen his face. I presume that he is an old man who turned around and used laws that were meant to protect black people against black people. All right, let me be quiet. Let me give you some information. The Fearless Fund, as stated on their website, is built by women of color for women of color, investing in businesses led by women of color seeking pre-seed, seed level, or Series A financing. Its mission is to bridge the gap in venture capital funding for women of color founders building scalable, growth oriented companies. Which means, for the most part, you have to meet certain goals, and then the returns, you start to see the returns. The Fearless Fund is a 501, like I said, nonprofit organization affiliated with the fund, provides capital, community, mentorship, and education to women of color entrepreneurs. The foundation has various programs, including Get Venture Ready and grants with a mission to provide more funding for women of color owned businesses. Tell me this isn't an effort to stop or to halt the progress of black women. Tell me that's not what the case is. Let me proceed. There are 4 grant programs, one of which is called Fearless Drivers Grant Contest, offering a $20,000 grant. One grant, $20,000. Now, if you were here earlier, I showed you that the Hello Alice Fund, okay, founded by white women who gave black owned businesses altogether up to $25,000, got their case thrown out because they gave it to black businesses and some white guy sued them. This one grant, $20,000. According to the official rules, it is open only to black females. Here is the old goat right here, Edward Blum, president of the American Alliance for Equal Rights. Sometimes I don't even know if this joke is right in itself. I don't know. The irony is certainly right in itself. A nonprofit challenging racial distinctions in court filed a lawsuit against the Fearless Fund on behalf of 3 anonymous small business owners who claimed they were ready and willing to apply for the grant but couldn't because they were not black women. They were white men. This is an organized thing because, and the Hello Alice, a white man, sued them because the grant was for black people. Over here, this AAER is suing Fearless Fund because, it's very clear that it's a good grant. So they want it and they're angry and jealous because now black women are receiving money, they are, to advance. And let's make no mistake, those reports that black women are the most educated, that they're more likely to start businesses, that they are the most entrepreneurial. Black men aren't the only ones who are jealous of that. Let's be clear, right? So we know they're not women. We know they're white men. So Blum argues that civil rights laws do not permit racial distinctions, insisting that race should not be a factor in public policy. Ain't that just bitchy? Ain't that just bitchy? Now, despite being the fastest growing group of business owners in the US, women of color have historically faced barriers of accessing capital and resources. Black female startup founders receive just 0.34% of the total venture capital in the US in 2021. Megan Thorpe, I think she's one of the founders, if I'm not mistaken, general partner of Ignite IRFOF, highlights underserved populations represent untapped markets because historically these markets have not received enough financial backing to develop novel solutions compared to other groups. Venture capital funding for businesses owned by Black and Hispanic women accounted for less than 1% of the total in 2022. So the men, and it goes on to read, she emphasizes the need for initiatives like the Fearless Funds grant program to address the historical inequities and create more inclusive pathways for underrepresented entrepreneurs. These stark disparities highlight the need for initiatives like the Fearless Funds grant program to address historical inequities and create more inclusive pathways underrepresented represented excuse me entrepreneurs to access capital and bring their innovative ideas to market. All right. So now we know what they're about. They're about investing in minority women, women of color, Black women, Hispanic women, women who are generally marginalized when it comes to funding. All right. So a group of women are talking about how, most women of color get 1%, less than 1% of funding in the United States. All right. So this woman, Gwyneth Borden, and I just want to read the article to give you a good idea of what's, and then we're going to flip back over to the Hello Alice and they winning their lawsuit. But decision, she says, uh, and she's a CEO of a debt recovering company, Gwyneth Borden. And this is what she says about the U.S. Court of Appeals. Just the Court of Appeals for the 11th Circuit's decision against the Fearless Fund will negatively impact efforts to address racial and gender wage disparities in the United States. She points out that less than 0.5%, 0.5% of venture capital goes to Black women founders, highlighting the persistent inequity of investment. And he says the Fearless Fund was established to address this gap. So they're blocked. They had to go to, let's see, blocking the such efforts. We know perpetuating the systemic barriers that have long hindered economic opportunities for marginalized communities. We know this historically. All right. Roseanne Rabin's managing partner, I think the blocking of minority focused grant programs and initiative reinforces existing structural inequities in the United States, driving forth the wealth gap. I don't think it's about the wealth gap. I really do believe it's about putting a stopgap on Black women and their progress. I talked about this last year, and I'm sorry I was a little clumsy. I'm not a journalist. I'm just a person who sits here and puts together these patterns. And I noticed as early as last year that Black women were being silenced. It was in the background. It was not something that was open or obvious, but it was definitely a little pattern of things where Black women were being all of a sudden we were being celebrated for being the most entrepreneurial, being the most educated, being the most forward, the fastest growing in several sectors, to suddenly being abruptly halted. And I asked, is there a silencing of Black women? Are we actually losing ground here? Because this grant and the stopping of this grant puts a stopgap in Black women's progress. Because historically, Black women have been the backbone of the community. We know this. And if Black women make it through and they break through that ceiling, the STEM ceiling, they in turn bring everybody else with them, right? So it goes on to say that, this won't stop them from actually funding people. They just have to be broader about it. They have to be cleverer. They have to be um, more subtle about it. And I'll put the link in the art of the article in the description. But I want to know, like, is this a blow to Black women that we are constantly being silenced? Not only it on the internet, like on TikTok and on YouTube, but are we being silenced? Or, is there a systemic effort to hijack and to halt Black women? Because don't you think it's kind of strange that a lot of Black women all our negative aspects are suddenly on display? We're just on display. And now they want to drag us down the hell and say, okay, well, yeah, she's educated, but look at this and look at that and look at what's going on here. But I want to take you back because I might have missed the part where they awarded a lot of money. They awarded a lot of money, the Fearless Fund, to Black women. A lot. And I had this all together, but that's my fault. So, what are the implications of this? I'm going to drop the link and I'm going to wait a little bit and you tell me what you think. Are we losing ground? Are we losing ground? I know I'm late tonight, so I don't expect a lot. I expect something, but I don't expect a lot. So, where was I? Anyways, I wanted to take it back to the fearless fun being dismantled. So, tell me what y'all think in the chat. Like I said, I'm going to drop the link in a bit to find out what is going on here and ask you what you think about this unfortunate situation. Are Black women losing ground? Is this something we need to know about that? You know, is this something we should be aware of? Is something we should be watching for? Okay. wanna talk about more stuff, but I'm so tired of the black women, uh, the fighting for our lives. I know that we're supposed to change the, narrative. Oof. I don't know. But anyways, I'm going to stay up here for a little bit long. Oh, here we go. All right. Well, I dropped the link. I think that's how you do it. That's how you do it. Mhm. Oh, okay. I get it now. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm trying to drop this link. Excuse me. I say. So I'm trying to figure out how to share this link because I don't know how to do it. It's a link that I have to share. Because somebody said something in the live chat and I wanted to share the link. Okay, well, he said something and I invited him up the to come up and share his opinion about what he said. Because he said black women have no sense. Uh, okay, so the link is dropped for anybody who wants to come up. I think that's how you drop it, right? How you drop the link. All right. So we're gonna move on to another story. I'm sorry, I'm just like so out of it when it comes to this. I have dropped a video earlier about well actually that's not where I want to go. Oh, I know. Fresh and Fit, Jesus Christ, these motherfuckers, really. Let's see. I go over here. You believe it or not, I had a whole show put together. It's so funny. And then I go to do the show and what is that? I go to do the show and all of it has gone blank. So, but I drop in the link for anybody who wants to talk. I'll be up here for a few more minutes. And I really want to know what people think about this. Is this, and I might not keep it up because sometimes I do these lives and I don't keep them up for very long. But I did find another article that was I just feel I don't know. I have a lot of feelings going on. I see that oh, I know what I'll talk about, like how misogyny is never gonna never gonna die. It's not going to die ever. Um, and that's why the red pill is not going to die. I come to that realization sometime last year and I still wanted to rail against it. I really wanted it to be a part of something, but I realized that it was the red pill was never going to die. It's just not something that's going to die. Because as long as misogyny is alive and well, and it has been for longer than 100 years, it's not going anywhere. So let me get this up. I don't know why it's not working right now. It should be working. Looking like it's trying to drop on me right now. StreamYard, I don't know. I'm not glad to see that other people have problems with it, but Jesus. Let's try it over here. If I try it over here, I'll get better results. It was up and then it was gone. Yeah. It was up and then it was gone. All right, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Well, I put the link up for the guy who said that black women ain't shit. Now he's gone. Now he's gone. Because I wanted to know where that came from. Black women didn't have any sense, is what he said. Well, I'm assuming it's a he. But yeah, so the tale of two cases for black women. One is dismissed and one is blocked. I'm going to call it because I was really waiting for this person to come up. I sent the invitation. I dropped the link, and I'm going to wait 2 more minutes, and I'm gonna call it a day. Anyways, I want to thank you all for stopping in, listening to me, even if it's after the after show. I appreciate it. Uh, I dropped the link to Mr. Jones, but I guess they don't want to come up and defend those comments. All right. Okay. All right. I'm not. Let's see. Hmm. Well, I saw that comment, so now it's gone. Okay. Well, you know what? I'm gonna try to. Okay, so I guess Mr. Jones does not want to defend his statement that black women ain't got no sense. Very well then. I appreciate whomever was here, stop by and listen to me for a few minutes. I do appreciate you. Thank you. I'm gonna call it a night. I know I should have like a deeper discussion about it, but I really, really, really wanted to come in and share that with you. Again, I don't know if this video is going to be up for any time. We'll see. We'll see how it does. But the Fearless Fun, really? So I'm sitting here with dead space. This is the thing we're not supposed to do. You're supposed to talk all the time, and I'm just trying to man everything. But anyways, this is how I feel about it. Like I feel that there is a systemic effort to silence black women. I talked about Sinji before in the previous video, how it struck me as odd that she gets deplatformed and Fresh and Fit get to just be demonetized, even though being demonetized is very serious. It's not being the platform. And I just see that these are little digs at black women all around. I actually want to talk about another case. I was going to save this for another video. Let's talk about that. Actually, I want to talk about that because I had actually previously tied this into um here it is. I tied this into one of the many things that's being done to black folks that we're not really paying attention to. Uh-oh. Did I lose it? I lost it. And it has to do with our civil rights and systemic racism. I don't know. Do I want to tackle that right now? It's 2 o'clock in the morning. Anyway, I just wanted to call our attention to that. Now I'm feeling, now that I'm here, this is another story we need to be talking about that a lot of people aren't talking about. And I'm just trying to figure out, is it because we don't know that it's happening? This happened last year. All right, I'm bringing it up. I'm not a professional YouTuber or a live one. I do very few lives. This year, I'm out trying to do it anyways. Now, wait for this to come up. Here it is. I was talking about black women, but what I do mean is I mean black folks. Are black folks actually losing? Because I tied this all in my mind to our civil rights slowly being tripled away. Come on. This one takes time. Anyways, before, as it's loading up, professor in Florida has had his studies removed. Now, if you're familiar with the term, excuse me, systemic racism, this professor, this man, is probably responsible for that study. Now, I want to just call your attention to it. Because now that I'm thinking about it, I'm sorry it took me a minute to think about this while I'm sitting here because that was actually part of the greater picture. But this man, this black man right here, had 6 of his studies retracted regarding systemic racism. 6. He is a prominent professor. He was cited 8,500 times. 8,500 times. So, as I understand it as a layperson, it genuinely means, that doing there? It genuinely means, it just sit up there and reveal my shit like that? That his studies were the basis of other studies, right? Now let's see. Let's do this. All right. So it starts out this way. Florida University criminology professor Eric Stewart was a guru of the claim that systemic racism infests America's police and American society. Now he's out of a job on account of extreme negligence in his research. The academic was fired after almost 20 years of his data, including figures used in an explosive study, which claimed the legacy of lynchings made whites perceive blacks as criminals, and that the problem was worse among conservatives, were found to be in question. Now think about that. That study's been around for a long time. College authorities said he was being fired for incompetence and false results. Now, I'm going to read this because I want you to understand just how prominent this man was. All right. Among the studies he has had to retract were claims that whites wanted longer sentences for blacks and Latinos. To date, 6 of Stewart's articles published in major academic journals like Criminology and Law and Society Review between 2003 and 2019 have been fully retracted at the allegations the professor's data was fake and so badly flawed that it should not have been published. What? The professor's termination came 4 years after the former graduate student, Justin Pickett, blew the whistle on his research. I'm going to show you Justin Pickett. I'm going to show you a picture of Justin Pickett. All right. That's Justin Pickett. Tell me what you think of Justin Pickett. What does Justin Pickett look like to you? All right. I ain't saying a word. I'm just showing you pictures. All right. So it says here Pickett said that he had worked together in 2011 researching whether the public was demanding longer sentences for Black and Hispanic criminals as those minority populations grew, with the paper claiming they did. But Stewart had fiddled the sample. Let me listen to myself for a second. To deliver that result when the real research did not. When the investigation into Stewart began in 2020, he claimed he was a victim of that Pickett, and that Pickett had essentially lynched me and my academic character. After 16 years as a professor of criminology at Florida State University in Tallahassee, Provost James Clark formally notified Stewart he was being terminated in July of 2023. I did not see how you can teach our students to be ethical researchers or, or how the results of future research projects conducted by you could be deemed as trustworthy, Clark wrote to Stewart, who has been absent from his role from March. Clark said as well, la la la. So the studies, the 2019 study, which has been retracted, was suggested that historical lynchings made white people they perceive black people as threats. That's one study. Okay. Another study in 2018 suggested that white Americans view black and Latino people as criminal threats and suggested that perceived threat could lead to state sponsored social control. That's a 2018 study. Now, I'm going down to the okay. Stewart was a widely cited scholar with north of 8,500 citations by other researchers. He was a vice president and fellow at the American Society of Criminology. He was a W.E.B. Du Bois fellow at the National Institute of Justice. He received $3.5 million in grant support from major organizations and taxpayer funded. The hell? Okay. They honored him in 2017. This is his face. Interestingly enough, face of a black man, prestigious black man. He had many grants. He made $190,000. And his studies, let me show you the list of studies that are being dismantled as we speak. Here they are. School social response, school climate, and school misbehavior, ethnic threat and social control, the social context of Latino threat and punitive Latino sentiment, lynchings, racial threat and whites' punitive views, the social context of criminal threat, and legacy and lynchings, perceived black criminal threat among whites. Those studies, systemic racism, is no longer valid. No longer valid. Tell me what you think. I'm waiting. I was waiting for somebody to come up tonight. I don't, I was lucky last time, but tonight it's Saturday morning. It's a crappy time. I understand. And I am going to call it. I've dropped the link for anybody who was out there. There were two people. I appreciate you. Thank you for stopping by. But I am going to call it a night. I got my drink here. I'll be back with another exciting episode of the Black Eye Podcast. I'm so sorry that I really wanted to talk to and get somebody's view on this and have a real discussion about it. And I hope one day that we do. I hope to meet people out there and we have a discussion about it. But until then, I mean, what do you think? I just want to know the answer to the question: are we losing the battle? It's not even really about black women, but are black people in general losing our civil rights? All that goodwill that we have built, are we losing those? While we're sitting here online being distracted by silly arguments, are we losing our civil rights? That's what I want to know. Y'all heard about the white family, right? The white people in Louisiana who are starting their own community, getting away from the city, getting away from black people. I don't know. I'm trying not to say too much. You can't say a lot here on YouTube, but it's something to think about. It's something to consider. Something definitely to consider. Anywho, I have dropped the link. No one has picked it up, but I hope to see you all on the flip side. I'm going to call it a night because it is 2:14. And although I'm good at being up at 2:14, I'm not that good at being up at 2:14. But I just noticed the pattern of things. That's all. Notice the pattern. Tell me what you think in the comments. Comments are always appreciated. And I bid you all good night or good morning. I might come back and do a live again. I may take this one down and do another live. We'll see how this one goes. But until then, I'm gonna have to say bye bye. I need everybody to talk to today. Good night.